And then I was on the phone with an old friend of mine. And he says to me, yeah, I went to Afghanistan for a spell. Do you hear what they're saying? So watch your words. This whole thing, just watch your words, because that's what spelling's about. They teach us at an early age, it's called spelling, so that our words become our spells, our casting. When you cast out, anybody ever go fly fishing? You do a cast, any kind of fishing, and you cast out and you grab something and bring it back. That's what casting is. So your words go out really far out, depending on the power you put behind them. Especially, God help it if you're raging, they go really, really far out and they bring back all the same crap. So, oh, I'm dying, I got this, oh, I hate life, I hate this. It's going to go out there with a big net. You cast the net and you pull it all in. So when somebody puts a spell on someone, they're crossing their dominion. So when you're doing spelling, your words are spelling. Who are you spelling? Yourself. The only one you have dominion and power over yourself. That's why they took away the light language, the divine language, because that was divinity, that had the frequency of divinity, and it couldn't be used for evil. So they had to change the language. So here we are today. Simple words. Watch what you say. So we don't want to cast out any crap. What you say is what you're going to call to yourself. So here's what I'm going to give you all a challenge. But first I'm going to do this. How many of you go to sleep in a good mood, and for some reason when you wake up, you're in a shitty mood, or not so good mood, or a little depressed, or a little... Anybody? That happens to me a lot. I could be in the best mood. Everything is going fantastic. And I wake up and I'm like, what happened to that? The night where you go to sleep, da, 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 and you wake up like, So here's what we're going to do. Because this truly works. It's called thought management, and I'm going to give you a challenge. Every morning, this is going to be a 1-week challenge, and then we're going to do it for another week and another week. And I want to see, I want you to take a moment to scan your life. You don't have to do it here, but I want you to look at your entire life and go, is it going where I'm going? Is it happening the way I want it to happen? And just write yourself little notes. On a 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. Where am I in my joy, my happiness, my career, my this, my that, my this? Then when you get up in the morning, first thing, I want you to go to the mirror and I want you to look really deep in your eyes and I want you to say 5 awesome things about yourself. So you're going to look in your mirror, and 3 of those 5 things must be about your conduct. What I mean by that is things you do, things how you are. Like you can't sit there and go, wow, I have gorgeous eyes. Ooh, I have nice teeth. My hair's nice. No. You can say 2 of those things like that. Like, wow, I'm beautiful. Things like that. You can do 2, but 3 of them must be about your conduct. And that means, wow, I'm a really thoughtful individual. I love being thoughtful. And you're not just going to stop at the comment. Okay? You're not going to stop at like I could go and go, wow, I'm a really thoughtful individual. That means nothing. What does that mean? What does that mean to you versus me? So you're going to sit there and go, I'm a really thoughtful individual. I like doing things for people. And I want you to look in the mirror and stare in the mirror at yourself, look in your eyes and say, I really enjoy being happy. I like it when I smile. I like it when I don't let things bother me. I am divine happiness. And then you will find an I am statement to support that at the end. So 3 conduct things, 5 things total, minimum of 3 conducts. And then 2, you could say, I really do look good. Don't put for my age on there. I really do look good. I don't know why I beat myself up. I look better than half the people in this world. Hey, God loves me for my beauty. God loves me just as I am. I am divine perfection. Does everybody get the feel of that, what I'm trying to get said here? I guarantee you, your day will change. Now, almost all of us take a shower, bath or something, go in the bathroom to brush our teeth, and come on, we all have the mirror over our sink. It takes 2 minutes. Give yourself 2 minutes of this. You could even say things like this. You can look in there and say, wow, last night, I can't believe how awesome I handled that situation. I was amazing. I didn't get upset. Those things would have triggered me in the past. Now it doesn't even get me upset. Wow, I'm coming a far way. I can't believe how much I've grown. I am divine awesomeness. Always end it with I am. So that's what happened. But I want you to watch your words. And then during the day, truly, truly watch what you say. During the day, watch what you say. During the day, watch what you say. And watch, give yourself. How many of you are moms and dads? We'll put the dads in there too. How many of you mom and dads, okay? When your baby was little, how many of you watched it really carefully? You wouldn't dare let a 4-year-old run out into the street. Should be an I am after Brian after it should be 5 of them. You wouldn't dare, every time you say something, you're going to say 5 statements, you're going to end it with an I am, with a statement. So you would never let, the second I am after it. You never, ever, ever, ever let your 4-year-old run out in the street into traffic. You really watched your kids. So most of you, your kids are all grown. So for 1 week, I want you to watch yourself like you watched your kids when they were 4, like a hawk. Watch your words, watch your actions, watch your deeds. Indeed, in action. Think of yourself as a 4-year-old child. And you're going to, would you tell your 4-year-old child, I had enough of you, go get out of here? No. What would you say to your 4-year-old child, your little inner you? Because it's still in there. There is no time and space. We just age because of, we chose darkness instead of light. So look at that little kid inside, or look, think of a little 4-year-old. Think of one of your sons or daughters. Would you treat them the way you're treating yourself? Watch what would you want your little 4-year-old telling you to go F off? No. Would you want them to say, I hate you? No. Would you want them to say to you, ooh, you're old and ugly, or you're fat? Did your kids, when they were 4 or 5, it didn't matter how fat you were, how skinny you were, how many lines you had, how screwed up your hair was, or what you were wearing. All your kids wanted was to be with you, right? They didn't care what mommy looked like. That was mommy. They didn't care what daddy looked like. That was daddy. Now, when they got to their teens and they learned 3D, that's another story. So simply treat yourself like you would treat your mommy and your kids. Try that for a week. Can you all do that? Write down Saturday. I'd love to hear this. What's changed in your life? Or even for 1 week, you can make a huge difference. On the 5 things we say to ourselves in the AM, can they be the same 5 things, or are we supposed to change them? Whatever feels good for you. You know, if you wake up feeling overwhelmed, I've got so much to do, then make the 5 things about how everything flows. You look in the mirror and say, wow, I'm an awesome creator. I've got that Christ light that can create in grace and ease and flow effortless and easy through everything I do. There's no struggle. There's nothing too great for the Christ light. I am divine Christ light. Everything flows with grace and ease. See, that would be something. So, but the next morning you wake up like, nobody loves me, I'm here all alone. You're not going to use that same thing. You look up and say, wow, I am divine Christ light. I am divine love. The divine heavens love me. Mother, Father, divine creator, loves me more than anything. Lord Yeshua loves me. I am divine love. It flows from me effortlessly. I illuminate divine love in every step. I am divine love. You don't need what you are. So you see how that will go away? So whatever you wake up, see how you feel. And if you don't, if there's nothing bothering you, fine, just say 5 great things about yourself. And bring it into an I am statement and always end with, I am, accept it all. Well, Bernard, I really don't answer RV questions here, but I'm going to answer this one because it's going to lead to something much bigger, which is more important. Bernard writes, why should I have Zim bonds to go in a redemption appointment? And if I'll never have Zims, am I losing on something? Anything that brings fear to you is darkness. So if you're going, oh, I'm going to miss out on something, then you're not standing in Christ's light. There are 2 foundations in this world, love and fear. Everything evil comes from fear. Everything of divinity is in the love category. So by you saying, am I going to lose out on something? That's lack. That's this side. That's fear. That's darkness. Many of these RV people are pushing, they're doing fear mongering. They're pushing so much. You got to do this. 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 Is that divinity? Are you standing in dominion if someone's telling you what you have to do? Are you standing under Nasara Jasara? We, the people, make our own decisions. We're self-determining. That means, in plain English, nobody should be telling you what to do. And if you're silly enough or ignorant enough to listen to it, they can suggest things. That's a lot different than put, oh, you're going to lose out. They're telling you, you are going to lose out if you don't do this. So what you're telling me is that a Zim bond is more powerful than my Christ light or my Christ presence? I'll never have money if I don't have Zim bonds. And the second part of this, there's nothing that disturbs me more than calling an exchange a redemption. We're going to be redeemed by money? Huh. Funny, because this lovely book, we'll use the one that I use all the time. This lovely book says you cannot serve 2 masters. You cannot serve money. So, and this lovely book says the divine creator is your redeemer. And what's the divine creator redeeming you from? All your choices of darkness. Oh, but we're going to go to a redemption center. We're going to be redeemed. If anybody says that to you, I would run for the hills. I wouldn't even go in. That's all thanks to gangster shit. And the minute you agree to that, the minute you say, yep, I'm redeeming, what are you doing? You're throwing it out to the universe that you're allowing money to redeem you. You're exchanging. It's just an exchange. How many of you have ever gone, well, in the old days, when I went to Italy, it was lira. It was lira, right? I would go there, I would go into Italy, I have family in Italy, and I'd take my US currency, my US dollars, and I'd put them in the bank, and when I got there, or the machines at the airport, and I got 50 lira, 100 lira, 1,000 lira, whatever I needed, right? 2,000 lira. And then when I came back to America, I want to be in America. When I came back to America, I would give my lira back and get dollars. I didn't redeem jack squat. I didn't say, oh, you're my redeemer. This is my money. I earned it. You can't tell me how to spend it or what to spend it on. Who the beepity do you think you are? And then the bank is going to sit there and go, oh, well, you have to spend it on projects for mankind. Are you kidding? Are you absolutely kidding me? There's no way, oops, what happened? There's absolutely no way on God's green earth anybody can tell you what to do with what's yours. Unless you're under what? Anybody? Yes. Oh, that's a good way of, who said spell? That's, unless you're under spell, absolutely. Unless you contract, unless you decided to do that. Martial law. You got it, Jim. Unless you're under martial law or unless you're under demonic rule. So no one could tell you to do anything. To me, and this is just me. This is just me. It's not from divinity. It's nothing. It's just 3D me. If somebody's going to tell me what to do and how to do it, I'm walking away. I don't want to be somebody's slave and servant. How many of you know people or got rid of people in your life that you had to kiss their ass to get something that was rightfully yours? Was that a good feeling to be? No. You don't want to be controlled. We're already controlled. In 1933, they put us under martial law. We've been on martial law. And that's why everybody's getting arrested who fights for their constitutional rights, because under martial law, we have no constitutional rights. So, and it's not a redemption center. It's an exchange center. At an exchange center, you can redeem bills. You can redeem bonds if you want. You can cash them in is the real saying. You see how they get you? I'm going to cash in my bond. Wait, how many of you ever got savings bonds of some kind? Come on, when we were a kid, everybody got, when you were christened, grandma and grandpa bought you U.S. savings bonds, right? $50 for your christening. And then 25 years, they'll be worth $50. My goodness, right? So they're U.S. savings bond. You can get them in other countries. These are bonds. So when I became 18, those bonds had matured, meaning they came to completion. I didn't go to the bank and say, can you redeem these and me? I cashed in my bonds. I'm like, here, I'm 18 years old. Here's $300 worth of bonds. Give me my cash. Right? I cashed them in. Just cashed them in. So you don't redeem bonds, you cash them in. You don't redeem money, you exchange it. So why is it be calling a redemption? It's all about the spelling. And it's private. If you're going to go under Nasara Jasara, it's private. You can no longer be public. Look up the word public. It calls you basically an idiot, ignorant asshole. Look it up in the law dictionaries. And it's a private thing. It's absolutely private. Everything goes into private. And then when it's private, what does this say in the Bible? Everything's private. And this is the trust. So when you go into private, it's nobody's business what you do with it. If you want to stand outside and take all your money and create a barn fire, a barn, light it up, whoosh, trillions of dollars, that's your choice. It's your choice. No one could tell you. And as I've said before, because somebody wrote about humanity, I think it was Bernard, human, the Carly Law Dictionary, 2nd edition, means lower than the beast. If you look up a beast, it means those who renounce the Christ doctrine. So they want you to do humanitarian projects. If it's my choice, if I choose it, I will assist mankind. And guess what? I choose it every day. I'll assist mankind to the best of my ability, whoever asks, in anything that I can do. But I will not do anything. You tell me, you go to the original Bible, the King James Version, the 1611, the one they made the law. And I give anybody $1,000 if you can find the word human in the Bible. It's not in there. Because you means to cut down. Just interesting. Think about this too. We're man and woman. The woe in front of man just means you have a womb. So you're man and woman. Why would they put a hew in front of it? Because hew in the Bible means to cut down. Read the Bible. It tells you that they went and got men to hew the trees, to cut down the trees, because that's what it means. So just watch what they say. I just do man and woman. That's what we are. God created man and God created woman. God did not create females, males. God created man and God created woman. No humans. There's no humans in the Bible. So they're all spells. It's all about the words. And why is it all about the words? Anybody? In the beginning, God spoke the word, let there be light, and there was light. The word is the frequency to create from. When you speak, it creates a frequency. Frequency hits the substrate. Our earth was created. I'm not getting into all of this because this is going to be a whole nother thing. The downloads that are coming to me at such a high speed at night are insane. But our earth was created on 3 frequencies, 3, 6, 9. And when you speak, if you speak in divinity, you're speaking in the words that create and go to the substrate and activate the enzymes in the substrate and create, and then you accept it. The old days, when you said the word chair, the vibration of the word chair with the language that they used to use, and don't ask me, I don't know how to say chair in Hebrew. Hebrew is the closest thing left to speaking the vibration of the actual thing. When you said the word chair, it would have the frequency of a chair. What if one can't speak? Can we know it, feel it, see it in our mind? Visualization is the second best thing. I'm going to jump to this one. Anetta says, you may keep this private, but I don't need to. You're obviously aware of pedo pizza. Yes, I am. So why do you have Celine Dion as your opening? She's openly a Satanist, pedo deeply. Please research. I don't think you want her as your intro. I didn't look at it as that way, and I'm not going to look at it that way. I'm going to cover it with divinity. The song that was sung was a beautiful song for Mother's Day. And quite frankly, I don't know anybody in Hollywood, there's only a few, and not anybody who sings that song that's not a satanic. But I wrap everything in the Christ light, as you can do as well. But I get what you're saying, Annette. I really do. But it's like I have a dear friend who won't shop in Walmart. Because it's evil. Well, but you'll go into Target or Kohl's or any of those. They're all evil. Every day you're in a world of evil. If you have one of these things called a dollar bill, you're playing with Satan. It's Satan's money. It's all satanic. But you still use it. You see what I'm saying? We're in Satan's world. We do the best we can with what we have at the time, and we just shine the Christ light and it runs away. My focus was not on darkness. My focus was on sharing a beautiful prayer for Mother's Day. And trust me, even more so with what this is feeling. You didn't want me to sing that song. So, and Janet goes, I admit Walmart feels evil to me. Many things, Target, come on, the circle, hello, the eye, get it, boom, I'm not going into it. There are a lot, there's a lot of evil things. However, if you stand in Christ's light and you walk in, darkness cannot exist where there is light. So all you need to do is stand in the light and nobody can touch you. No one. It's the minute you fall by your thought patterns. Oh, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Oh my God. It's the minute you do that, you fall back into the 3D where now you can be manipulated. Now you can feel the poop of darkness. How many of you have had experiences in 5D? You feel so great, nothing can touch you. Everything is falling into place perfectly, right? There's no darkness. Where's the darkness then? You're standing in the same house. You're standing in the same street. You're in the same neighborhood. Where's the darkness? It's running from you because you are illuminating light everywhere. And darkness goes, oh crap, the light's coming. I gotta go, because the minute the light enters darkness, darkness does no longer exist. What you focus on is what you believe. What you believe is what you create. What you create is what you become. So if you're going to focus on the darkness in that particular song, okay. My intention, and I wrapped that song up and I wrapped everything about it, which is what I do for all of these. You've always heard me in all the webinars, only that of the highest divinity is allowed into our fields. So I wrap everything up. So Dee says, why are they trying to cloud happiness of seeing Northern Lights by saying it's harp? I feel it was natural and I'm okay with that. Then don't worry about it, Dee. Don't let anybody take away your happiness. There comes a point where knowing what's going on is important. It truly is. But continuing focusing on it is giving it energy to be and to stay. Focusing on the opposite of it. So let's say, let me think of something. We'll make it something that's not happening. Every day, tires are missing off of all the cars on your street. They jack up the cars and they steal the tires, okay? Every day. So people go, oh my gosh, there's a ring of people stealing tires. So now they're going to focus on this ring of people. They're going to focus on the tires disappearing. And let's say it happened 4 blocks away and you're going, Oh, I hope my tires don't get stolen. Oh, I don't have a garage. I can't park my car in the garage. Oh my gosh, I hope they don't steal my car, my tires. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. What are you creating? You're creating your tires being stolen. You're calling it to you. You're basically putting a sign out on your front lawn or on your car. Steal these, please. Instead of saying, okay, we have an issue here. They're stealing tires. My car's safe. I'm a divine light. I am divine Christ light. Everything is under my dominion, is completely safe under the divine. And then visualizing yourself, maybe doing whole shots in your car and wheeling out the back tires and having fun. And stop focusing on, we're not going to have tires. That's the difference. So yes, it is important in today's now time to know what's going on. It's very important to know that. But now that we know it, instead of focusing that it's still going on, visualize and pray that it doesn't. That's the best thing you can do. More prayers, more Christ light. Light it up. Because if you're lighting up the tunnels, darkness can't exist down there. How many of you ever thought about sending Christ light into the tunnels and lighting them up? Keep doing it. There are some individuals on this earth plane whose mission is to combat. That's theirs. It's not my mission. I came here to anchor Christ light. Do I struggle with it like everybody else? Absolutely. Are there times I go 3D? Absolutely. Is it getting less and less? Oh, big time. I rarely get super angry. I really don't get that angry at all anymore. So to keep focus, okay, we all know there's a harp system. We all know what a harp system can do. Every one of us. So why do we keep focusing on what the harp system is doing? Why not focus what the Christ light is doing? What has more power, the harp system frequency made out of antennas or the Christ light? Let's focus what the Christ light's doing. The Christ light's going to be blasting our way into the fifth dimension, into divine freedom. And you can do it. And don't beat yourself up if you struggle. There aren't many people who know this more than I do, and I struggle a lot. And if you're new to waking up to your Christ light, you're going to struggle even more. Negate. You're perfect. I have an issue. But all I'm saying is, if you fall into 3D again, if you get caught up in fear, don't beat yourself up. Honor yourself. Hey, I'm 3D. I got to get back up to 5D. Light me up. Even Yeshua got pissed off in the temples. He flipped tables. Don't give me all this foo-foo on that was a divine thing. That was a pissed off man in 3D. He was pissed. He was a man. 3D man. And he got pissed. He fell out of his divine righteousness for a few minutes. He enjoyed the anger of 3D. That was to show he's just like us. And then I'm sure he went back and he called the violet flame in and the Christ light, and he requalified all the energy he misqualified. So don't worry about D. Don't focus on harp. Focus on the pretty lights. That's an interesting question. I love it. Jasmine writes, I have a question about being invisible. I remember it was brought up in a meditation, then it compared to indivisible. Could you elaborate? I think invisible was better. It's good to be ascended masters are invisible. I'm not sure what you're asking me. But what I'm hearing to say, Jasmine, is that when you're in 5D, you're invisible to darkness. And they can't divide. That's what indivisible. Indivisible is you can't be divided. Are we divided right now? Yep, we're divided between 3D and 5D, many of us. We're divided from our Christ light and our third dimensional BS light. We're divided in a lot of ways. We're divided as man and woman. We're divided through everything. That's what I said. You're invisible in 5D to darkness. That's exactly what I said, D. Can't be seen. Because darkness can't exist, but there's light in the higher dimensions. So if you're 5D and walk in the 3D plane, you're invisible. And I tell you this all the time because when it was COVID, I never put a mask on ever. And I walked into Ingles, which is a grocery store here, and I would walk in, there's the Momo at the door going, would you like a mask? And I said, no, thank you. And I just went in. Everybody else, they practically tackled and they made them put a mask on. Why didn't I have to put a mask on? And I had a dog in my arm, no less, right? It's because I was in Christ light. Then one day, which doesn't affect me anymore, so I'm very proud of that. But one day I got a call from my brother about something crappy, right into 3D. Why I'm in the parking lot of Ingles. And I walked in. Do you want a mask? No. Well, basically I got thrown out of the store. There was a war going on. They tracked me through the whole store. They were screaming and yelling. Why didn't that happen the 999 times before? It happened that way because I was down in 3D because of I allowed myself to get there from the phone call. I was no longer in Christ light. The Christ light's within me, but I wasn't illuminating it. And if you don't illuminate it out, darkness doesn't run from you. What we have learned to do is to keep it wrapped up and tight so nobody can see it. So that allows darkness to come close to us. But the minute we go, darkness can't come near us. Do you ever realize, negate, ab initio, do you ever catch the glances of people that you can tell are just dark as they look at you? Disgust is on their face. They're like, as you're smiling a big face. Or the best one is you're so happy and joyous and you go and you're checking out at the grocery store or whatever, and there's a miserable 3D dark individual at the register, and you just start illuminating more, and you're smiling to him, and you're saying, "Whoa, have a great day." Oh, that, you're being so nice, and they're treating you like a piece of poop, and they're getting angrier the more happier you are. The mad dog face. I like that. So just keep illuminate. And here they asked a question, but she's new. So yeah, they put your questions in the Q&A. But since we're talking about this, I'll answer your question. She wants to know the fastest way to go from 3D to 5D. It's different for everybody. However, the more you practice it, the more you meditate, the more you're in 5D, the more used to 5D. It's like this. You don't know how to roller skate. Let's say you have absolutely no clue how to roller skate, but you want to become a roller skater. So you want to roller skate, but you have no clue how to roller skate. So what do? You practice. You don't put on inline skates and go down a mountain. You just don't do that. This is stupid. You'll kill yourself, right? You do little things. First, maybe you put them on and you hold on to your house or something. You learn slowly. You get comfortable with them, right? You are not going to put skates on for the very first time and feel fantastic. In general, maybe there's one or two who might, but I'm just saying in general. I'm talking in general terms here. You're going to feel awkward. You're going to, and most people go boom, right on their butt. But the more you use it, the more you do it, the more comfortable it gets. And then if you've ever roller skated in lines of 4, if you ever roller skated after you roller skated for a while and you take them off, you still feel like you're on roller skates. You sit down or you lay down, and you feel like you're roller skating. Okay, after a while, even today, and I made this joke because Dash, she's in her 30s, she goes roller skating all the time. So I threw the gauntlet down. I said, fine, I'll meet you outside. Let's go. And I brought I used to play ice hockey and stuff on my roller skates. And I brought my skates, my inlines, and she couldn't keep up with me. She couldn't skate worth the damn. Negate, Evey show. Worth of goodness. She's probably spent more time on it, but for me, I skated so much as a child and through most of my adult life, putting on a pair of roller skates is not uncomfortable anymore. It's natural. So the more you practice is the same with the divine Christ light. You haven't been lighting up for years. Mankind has been in darkness. Mankind put a big old gate of a shroud of metal around their light so nobody could see it and held it in darkness. And that shroud was called 3D darkness, Luciferian energy. So the more you practice, you do meditations, you go into your Christ light, you're one with the Christ light, the more it becomes natural. And this is what happened to me. There are certain individuals, family members, we all have these, that for some reason, they put a hot poker just by coming into your presence sometimes, a hot poker right into your gut. And you lose it. They may not even open their mouths and you've lost it, right? There are some people in our lives like that. Well, the more you do the Christ light and the more you get familiar with that, the poker doesn't even come near you anymore. They can't touch me anymore. That was the greatest part of my life when that stopped. So the best way to go from 3D to 5D is to practice it and have that feeling of 5D and get used to it. And then when something comes up with the poker, the hot poker, you become aware of it and you do this. You step back, 3 deep breaths, and bring yourself right back up. You can do it. You really can. Or if you can't do it by yourself, Yeshua, now. And trust me, I get really forceful. Yeshua, get your ass here and get it here now. I need Christ light and I need it now. I don't care what lesson I have to learn. Bubble me up. Christ light, make all this go away. I'll find it with grace and ease another way. I demand it. I demand Christ light immediately now. It's my right. It's your right. It's your birthright. It's who you are. You'll demand someone to treat you okay, but you won't demand the Christ light, which is you. Command and demand. I'm commanding this to happen now. You can only demand in your own dominion. Demand means to get rid of man and step into Christ light. Demand. So just, and then don't open your mouth. We have what's called reaction, knee-jerk reactions. You're reacting on the ionic field. If you can just stop, and they could be nasty because you're taking nasty breaths. I trust me, I've done this. Inside, I'm thinking I'm going to kill him, you know, right? And I keep doing it until that thought, I'm going to, goes away. It mellows out. And I'm going, what am I doing? I'm going to allow these idiots to have power over me? If someone's making you mad or someone is pissing you off, you're giving them the power to do it. Because nobody can make you mad and nobody can piss you off. Only you can. Lily can say whatever she wants to me. She can't make me mad. Only I can allow myself to get mad. So when you take those breaths and you start going, why am I allowing myself to be controlled? Because that's really what's happening. When someone makes you mad, you are allowing them to control you. And when you start comprehending this, why would you want anybody to control you? Aren't we controlled enough? So don't allow, and that to me, somebody telling me what to do is the greatest no-no in the world. There's nothing that makes the hair on my back and my neck stand up more than that. Nothing. You could kill me and it wouldn't be as bad, right? Telling me what to do is what, oof. It just puts the fighting gloves on, right? The boxing gloves gone. So now when I started looking at it differently, I'm going to allow someone to tell me what to do because they're making me mad, right? They're pushing my buttons. I'm allowing them to have power over me. That was the fastest way for me to stop letting that happen. When I came to the true knowing, not the comprehending is not the knowing's in the heart. When I came to the true knowing that every time I let my brothers or somebody make me mad, that I was allowing them to control me, that stopped instantly. And that all happened for many of you that know me and our Tuesdays and Thursdays. That happened on that one Serapis Bay meditation. I had a huge knowing ding that stopped the puppet masters from pulling my strings. In that case, which were my brothers. Because that's what's happening. When you allow someone to make you mad, they're your puppet master. When you allow 3D spelling to take over, when you allow the Luciferian satanic energy to take over, you're just a puppet. How does that sit? Not too kosher, huh? I'm nobody's puppet. And see, that's something that I think the forefathers of America got. They really knew that. They will not allow anybody to tell their children, to tell them to abuse their children. Not going to do it anymore. So they stood up. They didn't have to do a lot of things. All they did was they stood in their Christ consciousness and they decreed no more. I'm not gonna take it. I'm just not take it, right? That's what they said. They're not going to take it anymore. And they wrote the Declaration of Independence. That's a decree. It's right on the title. Nobody thinks about that. They got together collectively and they decreed they're not going to take it anymore. And then at all costs, they wouldn't take it. If that meant life, they didn't care because life, they know, is just temporary. They have eternal life because they believed in the divine creator. They left us that monument over there. And that's what it's all about. You're not going to take it anymore. But it doesn't mean to be about it. It just means I'm not. See, the minute people start attacking back, which is what the patriots are doing, and they're great individuals, but they're going about it just a little differently, you know. The minute you start attacking back is the minute you're back into the 3D. And there are individuals that were chosen here and came here to remove the obstacles. But just because the obstacles are being removed doesn't mean our lives are going to go, wah. No, we have to choose it. And we have to choose not to take it anymore. And by that, it means I'm not going to take and accept darkness anymore. I am not going to allow some idiot, some momo, to make me angry because they can't. I'm allowing myself to be angry. I'm not going to allow anybody to be my puppet master. Now, I'm still living in the 3D world, and I may have to use some of the satanic tools right now. But guess what? Didn't God use Satan in many ways to make good things happen? Remember that? Job? So just because for now I'm utilizing things of in the Satan world, so think of it like this. I'm this angel. And I come down and I'm playing in Satan's world for a minute. I'm in Satan's world. I'm not going to allow Satan's beliefs, Satan's disgusting ugliness, Satan's darkness, whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to allow it to take my wings away. Not happening. I'm still going to be an angel. And I can go, oh, look. Darkness created that. I can use that to assist this one who's asking for help about this. Don't let darkness clip your wings. Don't. Because the minute darkness clips your wings, yes, I'm a good puppet. You're my puppet master. You know who I want my puppet master to be? My Christ light. I don't want Luciferian energy or Satan to have hold of my strings. I want my Christ light to have my strings. That's the difference. Don't let yourself be bound into darkness. That is slavery. When you're standing in light, you're not in slavery. Nothing can affect you. For 1 minute, do you really believe, with all that you are, that the satanic energy is more powerful than Christ's light? And as I always use, the satanic energy is like an ant next to an elephant. That's simple. But when the elephant gets taught something, now the satanic energy is like a mouse next to the elephant, and the elephant gets scared because somebody taught the elephant that a mouse is more powerful. Don't let it be more powerful. Nothing has more power than the Christ light. Nothing can touch the Christ light. Nothing can affect the Christ light but you. Do we have a soul name? Yes. Who gave us that name? Or is it the name our mothers and fathers gave us? No. You have godparents, real godparents, divine parents. they're like, when your soul sparked from the divine, they were ones to guide you. They were your guardians. Where does the word guardian angel come from? Those are your guardian angels. They're your mom and dad on the divine side, if you will. They're your guardians. They guard over you just like a mom and dad would. And they are called, believe it or not, the guardianship, your guardian angels. So when you get baptized, I'm only going to speak about, don't tell me not my religion. I don't want to hear all that, because all I know is the horrific way I was raised, okay? But what a blessing it was, because it made me who I am today. So the Roman Catholic Church, when you get baptized, they make you get godparents, because you're already rented. Remember, when you were born, you will no longer have a mom and dad. You no longer have guardianship. You become a ward of the state, and you have parents, a pair that rent you from the state. That's why they have to pay for everything for you, because it's like renting a house. They're renting these kids, because every hospital, every birthing center, and all that stuff is what? Foundlings. And a foundling is a place where you can give a kid without. Did you all see? I thought that was hysterical. Talk about a new foundling. Did you see the drop-off box, like the FedEx box for kids on my Telegram? No, you got to laugh about it. You really got to laugh about it. It's ridiculous. It's no different than what your mom and dad did to you. It really isn't. When you're born and they turn you over to the hospital, it's the same as putting you in a drop-off box. They gave you to the hospital. It's a foundling. The second they turn you over, the state has guardianship over you. And then that's when your birth certificate changes. You are now certified to the state. And now your mom and dad are no longer mom and dads. They're parents. And then they go get you it's one thing to have parents in the 3D realm, but now as you're being baptized under the holy water of who? Satanic. And you are now having godparents. And they speak for you. So your mom and dad, who are renting you, pick people who are going to now have the responsibility to be your guardianship, which under divinity, dominion, right? Mom and dad have dominion over you until you become of age. Under dominion rule, you're telling your godparents to go away. The real guardians, angels, you're telling them to go away because you now have a new set. Thank you very much. I don't need you. I got Momo 1 and Momo 2. And I'm going to call them my godparents. And I'm going to worship my godparents. And what does your beautiful guardians, godparents, do? They tell in the prayers that they say when they're baptizing you, I swear to bring them up as one with the Roman Catholic Church. I don't remember the whole baptismal prayer, but basically that's what it's saying. So now they have just certified you as a ward of the state, and the divinity aspect of you is now linked to Satan. And you're sitting here going, why is it so hard to get back to my Christ light? Hello? So your soul name, my soul name, my higher dimensional name is Leana. That's where that comes from. So that was given to me, my guardian parents. That's not the right word. My guardian angels was Raphael, and I can't remember who the other one was. I forgot, but I have it written down. I got it in a meditation. I was told it by the divine. Raphael was my dad, if you will. And it is those who step up as guardianship of you. So, what time is it? I need to find my time. See, they're doing it again. They're taking my time off my computer when I do. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. Okay. Just 5 more minutes. Cool. A few more questions. What document did you present for President Trump? A private document that is for everybody internationally. Because here in America, we have an easier start. But I don't want to leave. So it's part of the ICCPR. It's a weird question, Mary. I was wondering if you and your entourage could provide some input on a thought. If Saint Germain reincarnation now at this time, if so, is he resonating in Baron Trump? Baron seems an old soul and above 5D in frequency. Well, I'm going to say 4 things about that. If Baron Trump wanted people to know who he was, he would state it. If he doesn't want people to know who he is, he wouldn't state it. And therefore, trying to find out is crossing his dominion. And therefore, the divine will never tell you, because they will never cross dominion. It's kind of like when I said, I don't want emails. Don't send me emails. I'm doing too much at this time. Just send me technical if you're struggling with something on the computers or something like that, or the site. And I get these emails. Oh, I know you didn't want an email, but but Spirit told me this. The divine told me to send you that. That's bullshit in plain English. In 3D English, that's bullshit. The divine will never, ever, ever cross my dominion. The divine will never, ever, ever, ever do what I don't want done. So instead of focusing on Baron, if he wanted you to know, you'd know. And I'm not picking on Mary, because I love Mary. However, I'm making a good statement with her. I'm going to go back with something here, because this happens a lot. Nosy buddies. All you people have to know not all of you, but I'm saying, people have to know everybody else's business. Do you want people to know your private life? When someone comes up to me and asks me a personal question, do you know what I answer? How much money you got in your bank account right now? You got to see what they say. It's a whole plethora of information. What are you asking me that for? Well, apparently you want to know my private business, so why can't I know yours? The minute you start telling me your private business is the minute I start telling you mine. If I choose to. You see how fast you shut them up? And everybody calls me a bitch. Okay, I'm proud to be it then. If that's what you want to call me, knock your socks off, because you're not getting into my private life. And the minute you let people into your private life, the minute it is not private anymore. And the minute it is not private anymore and it goes public is the minute you are described, as the dictionary states, as an ignorant piece of poop in a collective society, as per the law dictionary. The minute you go into someone's private life is the minute you are an ignorant piece of poop, as the law dictionary, and the minute you are crossing dominion, and the minute you are putting cords and connections to crap that you don't want. Shut your face. Who cares what other people do? It's none of your business. It's none of your business what anyone else is doing. If people put as much effort into their own business, we wouldn't have the screwed up world we have today. If people put as much energy into being the Christ light, their own business, into being divinity, choosing a side. I'm going to be dark, I'm going to be light. Good. The light will illuminate the darkness out of the 3D plane, and we're going, hasta la bye-bye, suckers. No problem. But we can't do that because everybody's focusing on all this crap. All this crap is just that. Crap. Distractions from keeping you who you are. Sean has a small book, which is great. It's okay. I just had to read it first. Sean has some issues with Mother's Day. She thought she worked through them all, but they're still popping up on Mother's Day. Maybe I need to sit with the feelings longer for some purpose I don't comprehend. I don't think you have to sit with them. That statement alone makes my skin crawl. I'm going to sit in shit. I don't like sitting in shit, personally. Right? Yuck. Oh, I'm so depressed. I'm so depressed. I want to sit in this? No, I don't think so. What I think you could do is say, I'm going to call to the Christ light, to the violet flame, to transmute all cause, core, effect, record and memory, system-wide through all dimensions, time and space, everything and anything pertaining to these feelings. And I am divine perfection. I feel only that of the divine Christ light. I am divine Christ light. I am. And you keep doing that until all you feel is divine Christ light. That's why it's so important. I don't care how you get there. If you meditate every day, if you listen to the meditations, do the meditation. The meditations that I do, they're divinely come from the divine. They're encoded with the divine. I'm just a mouthpiece. Okay? As a lot of this stuff, I'm just a mouthpiece for a lot. It just comes flying through. It's been doing this for years. So you can do them. They hold the divine Christ frequency in it. The Christ light. But if you have another way of getting into the Christ light, do it. I don't care how you do it. But that's why it's so imperative to get comfortable with the Christ light. Because when you're comfortable with the Christ light, then you know when you're back in it. If you don't know the Christ light, how do you know you're in it? When I get questions like, how do we know when we're in 5D? You're not there yet. Because once you're there, you know it. I never have to ask if I'm in my Christ light. What I do ask is, wow, how did I let myself dump into 3D so fast? Whatever that is, let it go. I don't need to know. If you need to know, you're going to need to know till the cows come home. And you have so much shit that's going to drop you into 3D that's programmed into you because you've been living in this dark world. All of us do. If you need to know, it'll take you 50,000 lifetimes to figure out it. If you don't need to know, which I don't need to know what program's coming up when and why I got dragged back into the lower dimensions. All I want to know is that my Christ light is going to illuminate it and illuminate it into non-existence. Whatever it is, gone. And then I'm going to disconnect that string, and I'm going to disconnect that string of darkness, and I'm going to pull down these strings of my Christ light, the light strings, and say, okay, let's go. Annetta says, it's a different Annetta. It's spelled different, Annetta. In my real life, I am being battered by bogus lawfare. It is a lot of work and also forcing a move. I can fill in if necessary. There is much to the situation, but what I am asking is how to handle this. Okay, Annette, and a lot of individuals, I'm sure, are facing a lot of 3D crap right now. What time is it? I'm going to just make sure I'm good on time. Yep. And I, too, am with my mom and some other things. And what you come to realize, negate, ab initio, what you come to comprehend in your knowingness is that you're ridding yourself of old contracts that are keeping you anchored into the 3D. This is why the patriots get in trouble. If you're standing in divine righteousness, you cannot break your word. You cannot break your contract. You signed contracts. All of you have signed contracts to be in Luciferian energy, to exist in Luciferian energy. Now you're just going to say, that contract's null and void. It was a fraud. No, it wasn't a fraud. You were too ignorant and too stupid to read the fine print. We didn't do it. And I mention that all the time about banking. 98% of the people, when you open a bank account, do not read all the documents. You just sign it thinking, oh, my money's going into a bank. But as I always say, take out your checkbooks, and we have some newbies here, so I'll show it again. Take out your checkbook. I cut out all my personal information off of one of my checks. And if you look here, this is where you sign, right? Yeah. right here is where you sign. That's your signature line. You will see if I can hold it. Study. There you go. You'll see a little MP. It stands for microprint. And then if you examine the line that you're signing, it says authorized signature. Put it under magnifying glass. You'll see it says authorized signature. You don't own your money. When you put your money in a bank, the bank has full authority over it, and you're just an authorized signature. It's the same as your son or your daughter asking you to borrow the car. You're just asking to use your money. It doesn't matter if you sign at the top of the check, contested rights, I sign it. It doesn't matter where you sign. It has absolutely nothing to do with it. You signed a contract when you opened your bank account. It doesn't matter where you put your John Hancock now. You already signed a signature that you don't own the money. You don't even ever have to write a check. You don't own the money. And that's why there's the Frank Dodd Act. And if the banks go under, they can take your money because it's not your money. You gave it to them. It's a trust. You put it into a trust and you are not the trustee and you have no say over that money anymore. You're just a peon who listens to the trust. Everything is trusts. But everything in the world, everything. I cannot say this enough. Everything is trust. Everything doing with finances is trust. And that's why this thing, give it a second to focus. This is Wells Fargo's logo. I can't hold my arm. Negate. I can hold it. There it is. Wells Fargo Bank, American Trust Company. They threw it in your face. You're too ignorant to read it. And when you sign the documents, what you're doing is you're putting your money into a trust. And if you're a good little girl or a good little boy and you do what you say, and you be a good little girl and you give back some of that money, everything that you work for, and you give it to the government and you give it and put it in another trust and you do this and we'll let you use a little bit of it. Mighty nice of you. The thing that I was saying with Annetta is as you're getting out of these things, these are all contracts that were signed. And this is where the patriots get in trouble because what they do is they sign contracts. If you took out a mortgage and you signed the contract to the mortgage company, you decided to do it. And under the law of the martial law, they have the final say. You're not under common law. So you just can't jump out and say, F you, which is what a lot of people are doing. They get in trouble and they lose their houses. Don't do that. If you're standing in divine righteousness, you got to rescind things. You made an agreement. You cannot be standing in divine righteousness under the agreement you made if you break it. Therefore, you're not in Christ's light. So it becomes a catch-22. Actually, it's not. It's very simple. You keep your agreement. But here's the kicker. This is the most gem of all gems. The entire system has a way out. They have given you a way out because darkness doesn't want to be under this system. There isn't a senator that's in that stupid place that doesn't use trusts. And they don't use any trust. They don't use statutory trust. That's part of the system. They use our trusts. My trust is the only trust out there that is written in the divine terms. They use the same type of trust, a business trust, but it's not written in divine terms. Ours takes it up a level. And the reason being is they gave you an out, but you got to know it. So instead of fighting the system, you use the very system that you signed up to unsign and rescind all those stupid signatures of everything you've done. And as you do that, you get out. But if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get yourself right back in. You're going to be a yo-yo and you're never going to get out. That's why it's a slow process. It took you, how old are you? From the day you were born, from the very day you were born, you were put in the system. Or 6 days or 7 days after. You were turned over to the system. So, take it slow. And what happens is, Zanetta, you're saying you've got all these bogus law things. They're coming up to get rid of all the crap in your past. The more you stand in your light, everybody says, oh, there's these ascension pains. Bull crap. They're not ascension pains. It's breaking the shackles off your feet from 3D. It's leaving 3D pangs. You're used to this stuff. Do you know children who are abused as babies in their whole life, up to like 13, where they're beaten to a pulp? When they're taken out of that situation, they're petrified of being loved. Because that's all they know. They can't do it. They need tons and tons of therapy to have them adjust to love. It's no different from you, from me. We're living in Satan's world. We contracted to this. Now we're asked to step into divine love, divine truth, and divine power, Christ light. We need tons and tons of practice. We haven't done it in a long time. We need to get back to it. That is, only if you choose. So how do you handle this? You go into the Christ light. You surrender to your Christ light. Don't surrender to the situation. So many people say that. Oh, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I surrender. No, I surrender to the Christ light. I surrender to Lord Yeshua. Handle it so I don't have to. That's it. That's how you handle it. But then you can't go back and say, oh, I'll take control over it, Yeshua. I got it. Don't worry about it. Because then you force them to walk away again. You force the Christ light to go away. Thea asked me, kindly speak on shining light into the lives of those we love who are having challenges, painful times, family members, and friends. You can only send Christ light. Otherwise, you're crossing dominion, because Christ light will not cross dominion. And what that does is, let's say this mouse is a loved one. Redhead, no, pinkhead, right? And they're having bad challenges. I can pray for them, or more effective, I can send Christ light. So I connect to my Christ light and I send my Christ light. My Christ light is divine. It has consciousness. It's divine consciousness. It will not cross dominion. So Christ light will come over here and vibrate all around this one. And just keep vibrating Christ light. And this one still has to make the choice to accept it or not. And what most people do is they start feeling better and don't even know it. And when they start feeling better, their own Christ light starts illuminating in them. And as their own heart starts to illuminate, they see differently. And usually they change their ways. But it's a choice. You cannot make someone do something they don't want to do. There are a lot of individuals who are choosing to stay in the third dimensional realm. That's why the phrase, where we go one, we go all, is bullshit, in my opinion. If you want to put the word eventually on it, fine. Maybe, perhaps. I don't even believe so, because there's going to be a lot that are going to fall into the pits of shit. Where we go one in Christ, we go all. Because I'm not going the same place the darkness is going. No way, no how, no way. And if that sentence was true, where we go one, we go all, which follows why we do it together or we don't do it at all, then we wouldn't have not one ascended master. Yeshua would not have ascended yet, because he'd still be hanging around for the rest of us momos to get our acts together. So it's a bullshit sentence. It's all lies. It's all lies. So you've got to ask yourself, what are they saying? Are we just changing wardens of the prison and we're still prisoners? Or are we actually breaking out? You only break out if you ask for the key. Because if you do a jailbreak, you'll be hunted and brought back in. But if you get the key and you get permission, they can't come after you. Yeah, I know he did. A lot of people. I know that's where it comes from, JFK's boat. Doesn't mean it's right. JFK was a man. JFK had no more light, no less light than any one of us. Permission. That's right. When you step into Christ's light, there's your permission. Christ's light is permission for everything. Christ's light is all powerful. There's nothing stronger. So the minute you doubt anything, you have to ask yourself, is my Christ, you're telling me my Christ light can't do that? That this stupid thing that I'm doubting about is more powerful than my Christ light? Are you telling me the issues I have with my family have more power? My brothers have more power than the Christ light for protecting me? Are you kidding me? Are you telling me Satan has more power than my Christ light? Are you telling me the Luciferian matrix has more power than my Christ light? I don't think so, and you're never going to convince me that it does. And I will never, ever renounce that belief. I may fall out of it and do stupid things, but I will never, ever, ever disbelieve that, because it's at the core of who I am, and I will die standing up for it, meaning I would rather die than go into this crap. And if it means having to go and fight a few law battles, it's not fight, having to get out of crap that you know, a lot of you don't know how to get out of the crap that you signed up for yet. You really don't. But you're stepping into your Christ light, and you can't go higher if you've got a signature on Satan's documents. You can go so far, then you clear that. You go so far, you clear this document. You go so far, you clear this signature, okay? So what happens is, if you don't know how, I'm just using this as an example, if you don't know how to get out of the satanic agreement with the banks for your mortgage, chances are you're going to lose your house if you want to raise up. Or go into the Christ light. Get rid of this, you'll get something beautifuler, betterer, as they say. How would you control the courts? I understand not allowing the person reaction, but how to influence the system. Why are you even in the system? Why are you in a court? Why are you allowing yourself to go into a court? You don't control the courts. You control you. Sure you can. There are ways to get out of mortgages. We have lots of people getting out of mortgages. So I said, there are ways. But be careful what you do. You got to do it from the Christ light. That's why we're taking the first steps, little by little. As the Jewish people say, yittle by yittle. You'll get there. See, Sandra's going to create the money. Why would you want to create money? Money is of darkness. I don't want to create money. I want to create divine Christ light. I can create anything, prosperity in my life, not money. Hi, I'm Leana from PowerPassionFreedom.com. If you liked what you heard, why don't you come and join us on Sundays? We do a whole free question and answer period followed by a meditation. Bring all your questions. All you have to do is go to PowerPassionFreedom.com to register for Sunday. Oh, and don't forget to like us and subscribe to us below, because we're always adding new meditations and content, and you don't want to miss out on it. I'll see you Sunday.